According to a recent report from Politico, the day that Democrats have been dreading for years here in the state of Florida has finally happened, and the number of registered Republicans has officially outpaced the number of registered Democrats here in the state of Florida. Now, that's the headline, okay? Let me read you the numbers. There are now 6,035 more Republicans than Democrats in Florida out of nearly 14.3 million registered active voters. So it's a 6,000 vote advantage. Is that significant? The answer is actually yes, it is significant. Because Republicans have been winning elections here in the state of Florida for many, many, many years, with Democrats holding an edge in the number of registered voters. For decades, we have had more registered Democrats than we have registered Republicans here in the state of Florida, yet our state government has been solidly controlled by Republicans, 20, 25, 30 years almost. Democrats can't make headway at the state level, and of course, as we saw in the 2020 election, Donald Trump beat Joe Biden here by one of the biggest margins that we have seen in over 20 years in a presidential election here in the state of Florida. So that is bad news. Now, some of the other races, governor's races, Senate races, those kind of have a razor-thin margin. So Republicans getting an extra 6,035 people that might be voting for him in the next election, that is huge. That truly is huge. That is definitely enough to kind of make those razor-thin margins just a little bit bigger. So this is super bad news for the Democratic Party, but it's something that I've been saying since the 2020 election. And I know that prior to the 2020 election, I was full of confidence, brimming with glee about Joe Biden taking this state. Totally 100% believed it was going to go blue. All the polls showed it going blue. We had a bunch of new Democrats on the voting rolls. We had given former felons their right to vote back while Republicans were still trying to take it away. I thought that would give Democrats an edge. Logic would tell us that it would, and none of it did. None of what I thought would happen came to fruition. None of what anybody thought was going to happen here in Florida came to fruition. I was 100% wrong about that. But that made me open my eyes and actually start looking around a little bit more. Because that's what being wrong should make people do. Take a deeper look, take a deeper dive. I now firmly believe Florida's a red state. It is not a swing state. It is absolutely not a swing state. We are seeing an influx of Republicans here. More and more Republicans are coming down here. Ben Shapiro has moved down here recently. You've got all these other Trump acolytes that have moved down here. They're holding events down here. CPAC coming in February is going to be held in Orlando. Republicans have descended upon Florida, and they are taking it over. Democrats really don't stand much of a chance here. They've let Republicans get the edge, and I think it's time that maybe they focus their efforts elsewhere. Maybe in a state that they could switch from the GOP. A state like Texas. Texas's demographics are shifting as well, except unlike the state of Florida, Texas seems to be shifting a little bit blue. Democrats could make some headway there. Greg Abbott's policies are not popular. So, maybe it's time to pull back a little on Florida and focus all those efforts elsewhere. Because if Republicans take Florida and it becomes a red state, there's no better revenge than taking an even bigger red state than Florida and turning it into a blue state. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.